Do you remember when there was something old that you will remember?
Wow, rough transition is rough.
I couldn't think of anything funny.
You remember Chewbacca? Remember Chewbacca again?
Remember Chewbacca?
Okay, so my vote for creepiest fruit advertisement. Hi, welcome to our review of South Park. That's right.
So 20th season.
Jeez.
20th.
That is actually
season.
I can't even think about it. It's just it feels ridiculous. Anyway, so God, 20. Welcome to our new season-ish thing of TV vlogs, where we'll be reviewing various things. The TV season has started up. This is our South Park review for the beginning of season 20. Member berries.
Member berries.
Because you want to I don't even know. Well, we'll get into that in a sec.
Do you remember when there weren't as many Mexicans?
Stop. All right.
Oh,
okay, so just kind of an explanation. TV season has started, so we're diving into our TV vlogs once again. He
totally doesn't know what happened in season 19. So
yeah, I didn't watch any of season 19.
This will be fun.
A lot of this will be, what the hell did I just watch?
He has no idea who PC Principal is.
No, I don't.
He's the new principal of South Park Elementary. That guy that you saw who was all beef.
Oh, okay, all right.
Like, all right, girls. He was funny. He had the glasses.
Yeah, it was funny.
I swear it was funny.
Anyways, so okay.
Oh my god.
So I am. It's been forever since I've watched South Park with any sort of regularity, and that really didn't exist. Like I've seen episodes here and there throughout my
season 19 definitely added a lot of continuity to their episodes.
Holy okay. So jumping into season 20 was very odd for me because it started off just fine. Like everything seemed fine, and then it's like halfway through, I think when they showed Mr. Garrison as the obvious Trump ripoff.
That was teased in 19.
I'm just like, what?
Yeah.
I was waiting for the setup. And then I'm like,
the setup came last season.
Oh,
that was the thing.
Okay, this is I mean, I get it. Jumping into a season without seeing the previous season stuff, but there's 19 seasons. I also know that South Park had traditionally, for the longest time, not been sequential at all. Like, there would be tie-ins a little bit, like they'd make an obscure reference sometimes just for like shits and giggles, but now they actually have a continuity, and I vaguely remembered that as I watched the episode. I'm like, oh, yeah, crap.
The whole Garrison running for president with Caitlyn Jenner was set up last season.
Jeez, and that's I'm trying not to kind of cringe that felt like a really low blow, but then I'm like, oh yeah, South Park. I need to get into the mindset here. They're the kings of low blows. So let's just
god.
I guess just as kind of a basis here to keep it with you. I've always been one of those things. South Park has always been hit or miss for the longest time, just because they had such lowbrow humor. I'm just like, what for the longest time, until a few recent years when I've really looked at it from a critical standpoint, as well as through the eyes of a few other critics and reviewers that really looked at it from a the satirical standpoint. I got the satire. I admit some of the episodes I saw were not the best of South Park, so it was a bit colored, but differently as I watched it in the early years. Looking at it now, like this is the ballsiest, craziest satire that's probably could ever be around, and that makes sense because South Park is known for just they don't give any fucks. They don't care.
Yeah, South Park has been one of probably my favorite, at least animated shows.
I can at least see why.
Since high school.
I at least see why. Like, I mean, I'm not gonna
because like to me, like South Park deals with shit that no one else is willing to deal with.
No one else is willing to whether you agree with them or not. You got to at least give them props that they're calling people out who may need to at least or who are at least out in the public to be called out with.
Like
whether they're actually doing something wrong or whether they're it's just a trend in pop culture and our culture that's just that's just going in weird areas. Like they're not afraid to take pot shots, and I fully respect them for that.
Yeah.
That's I think like South Park
like
does
when
that
you
so
take
well.
into the consideration they make every episode in a week. Like have you seen?
Well, yeah, I mean,
that, like,
props to them for actually putting this all together in a week. So yeah, fair enough.
It's kind of amazing how they fucking do it.
Especially since there actually are like legitimate comedy moments. It's not all just like here's all the things that happened this week. Let's point and laugh.
Yeah.
No, it's like they actually like have enough of a setup, and the characters are so fleshed out at this point.
Satirize.
You just know what's going on.
The real world. They just make fun of everything, and
it's
makes me
basically
happy.
it's like a quick shot stand up comedian just goes up and just like pulls out everything from the news and says, how can we screw this over? And they do it really well. So okay, this episode was I admit that this episode hit a lot of notes that made me happy to return to South Park, because they were talking about
last season was one of my favorite seasons. So.
Fair enough. Like they talked about Kaepernick and the protest in the national anthem. They talked about the presidential election was a big thing. J.J. Abrams rebooting the national anthem, and it turned out to be the exact same thing. Like I couldn't hear any difference. I don't know if there was.
It had a little bit of a different instrumental.
Yeah, it was like slightly had like.
But the big change was that you didn't have to stand for it. You could sit.
Yeah,
and kneel.
that was just it. That was the change. Is that they literally took out the fact that kneeling and sitting is fine, which of course screwed over. Mostly, you know, was poking at the fact that was the whole point of what Kaepernick had done, but also that was you know, Mr. Garrison had this plan to try and get out of the race because he realized he's not going to do anything once he gets elected.
Because much like Trump, he understands he can't do anything once he gets.
I admit I'm not gonna poke the political stick that much, but that was
Donald Trump is not a political stick.
I mean, whatever.
He barely qualifies as a human being. I'm sorry.
All right, well, fair enough. It's been stated. That's whatever. I'm not that perturbed by that statement. So okay, since you've seen season 9, how does this episode compare? It's 19. Whatever. My brain is
probably also seen season 9.
Well, my brain is like, that's too big of a number, sir. Please scale it back. Right,
how many other shows have 20 fucking seasons?
That isn't a game show or something like that, or a talk show. I doubt that there's anyone like an actual like. I mean, it has helped. They only had continuity for the past like
2 seasons,
few years. So
actually, I think 18 might have had a little.
Like I mean, but even
they
still,
really hit that nail really hard in 19.
Like their continuity was that Kenny kept dying, and now they just erased.
Kenny doesn't die anymore.
Yeah, Kenny's just—he's not even really.
I feel like they might have just gotten sick of that gag.
Well, I
honestly feel like Trey Parker and Matt Stone were.
I'm sure it was one of the cases where they're just like, "Well, we'll be on for 2 episodes. Who cares?"
Yeah.
And then it went for 20 seasons. They're like, "Ah, God, screw it. No."
I feel like Trey Parker and How Stone did get sick of that joke.
I can guarantee that's what happened.
And they were just like, "Let's not do that anymore."
That just is awful.
But anyway, you were gonna ask me a question.
So how does this feel compared to season 19? Is the energy still there? Does this still feel like they're continuing on the right streak?
Yes, it feels a lot like season 19, especially considering there wasn't a lot of the kids, and that was one of my biggest not issues, but one of my big ifs about season 19 was it didn't focus on the kids a whole lot. It was more. Okay. I don't want to say it was centered on the adults, but there was more stuff happening.
They allowed the adults to be actual characters, and I noticed that I've been noticed that as I kind of glanced at South Park for the past few years that Randy Marsh especially has been one of those he might as well be the 5th kid kind of thing.
Yeah.
Actually, I think he usually has more screen time per episode than Stan.
Yeah.
Because Stan's been kind of a second fiddle for forever.
For even through season 19, all the kid stuff has been basically centered around Kyle and Cartman.
Yeah. Which has been the biggest antagonism for
usually the case anyway. But Stan and Kenny basically take
their supporting roles,
the back seat, at least in these last couple of seasons.
I do like the fact they have expanded because it's one of those things where they obviously have that whole these kids are forever 4th graders kind of thing or whatever. Maybe did they finally go up to 5th grade? I remember when they went from 3rd to 4th, but
I don't know.
That's about it. Anyway, so they're perpetually preteens.
Yeah.
They have all this so. They've kind of kept that already, but it gets to the point where the kids can only do so much. Though they do make good commentaries. They're always the kids are always the ones that are right, which is what I love
that they brought back the giant deuce versus turd sandwich thing.
I actually it wasn't when they actually referenced the name Hillary Clinton. I'm like, oh, they're actually bringing out, calling out by name, because I thought that actually they were just one of the fact that they
The
called
really
it
okay. It's funny when you consider the fact that in season 19, Donald Trump actually was a character, and he was Canadian, and he was trying to build a wall between Canada and America.
My goodness. Okay. All
and
right.
then Garrison fucked him to death. That was a thing that happened last season.
South Park, everyone.
I love it. It's my favorite.
I'm not sure what else can be said. This was basically like this is grade 8, like straight to the face.
Yeah.
Satire.
And there's the whole thing of like, Randy is like, how can we vote for whichever one he didn't like?
They had the usual. I like the fact that they actually did like, it was that kind of like, it's that political drama that happens a lot in households. Like, we've always done this.
We've always voted for the blue guy.
It's that bipartisan, political
We've always
drama
voted
that's
for
going
the
on
Blue
all
Man
place.
Group.
And that I vote for the Blue Man Group. They're
Dude,
awesome.
they would be amazing.
Anyways, presidents. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess. But so that kind of that was actually a wonderful issue. I see them tackle. I'm sure they've done it before, but that idea where it's just like, we've always done this. How could they possibly do that? It's the bipartisanship that's really, it's really something that drives me the most nuts is when involved in politics, because it's like, you can't even remotely consider the other side. I get it. Like, sometimes it's just like you disagree with the other side and you just really can't find anything with a certain issue. But you get so used to that, you start forgetting to even look at the other side. And that's a big problem in America today. And I'm glad that South Park is here. Like, it's one of the, it feels weird to, I admit, like 5 years ago I would be like, what do you even say? But God bless South Park. Even if you're not religious, I don't care. It's just one of those things where we need at least someone, even no matter how, lowbrow humor they can get, to at least call out the bullshit.
Know.
I mean, and even
I don't
though
know if
lowbrow
I
humor
would
doesn't
call it
always
as
get it,
lowbrow.
I'd say like some of
it
it
has moments,
fair
but
enough.
like for the most part, I think their humor is like it's stupidly genius.
I'm not like, yeah, like, the moments are better. I mean, I guess I am
the
calling
jokes
back to
the jokes themselves are kind of like, I don't want to say in your face, but like they're pretty obvious and straightforward.
They're all, at the very least, maybe not the jokes themselves are in your face, but what they're talking about is in your face. Like, they're if they actually put the tongue in cheek, it'd be split out the other side and probably touching the other cheek somehow.
But I think that's the point.
Exactly.
Like,
that's their style, and I applaud that. I actually really like the super sarcastic humor where it's just like, you know exactly what they're talking about, and you know exactly that they do have at least some truth.
They put very complex issues into very simple.
Yeah, it's usually
funny jokes.
Like the opening to the episode,
and it's like,
which
we overcomplicate everything. Everything should just be dick and fart jokes. That's how the world should work. I mean,
I would. There are times where I would feel a lot better if the world was just dick and fart jokes. Anyway, but like the opening to the episode is they have the volleyball game, and everyone showed up for like the girls' volleyball game. And they have, all the announcers are based on whether the little black girl in the volleyball team is going to sit for the Pledge of Allegiance. For the national anthem.
She's gonna sit or stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
And it turned like all 4 of them sat to protest like a bullying issue that's been going on. And the fact that they had they did all the things that sports announcers do, like, oh, what an upset, like the other girl had sat down, everyone was focused on this. And it was so crazy. They did it so dramatically that it was I just couldn't stop laughing. And then they finished the punchline. They finished the joke off so well that as soon as the national anthem was over, everyone left, and it was like 3 people watching the actual volleyball game. And that's just another whole issue on and of itself. It's just like, that was a whirlwind of 5 minutes. Holy crap! Not even 5 minutes.
Yeah.
So South Park definitely has a way of getting your attention. It's usually by screaming at you. But the screaming at you is like, if you pay attention in pop culture, you'll probably understand exactly what they're talking about.
Yeah.
And it's, there's a lot of things.
Okay.
Another thing I wanted to go out to, and feel free to chime in. don't mean to hog this, but member berries.
Member berries!
Were they from anything else? Was this season 19?
This is the first time they popped up.
Okay, because this is about as left field. What the hell did I just watch? As I could possibly imagine.
They're like a fruit drug.
They remind me. Okay, they remind me of a Twilight Zone episode where like this teacher's students get turned into fruit, and the teacher gets so hungry she eats one of her students. I don't remember all the details. Yeah, it was a creepy Twilight Zone episode way back in the day, like the original series Twilight Zone. And it reminded me so much of those because there's these grapes and they keep talking about nostalgic things like remember it was a remember Chewbacca and remember Ghostbusters, and and they just keep like batting off each other.
And then eventually one of them goes, "Remember when there weren't so many Mexicans?"
It's like, wait, what? And it's like it makes you really feel like this whole like
yeah,
that's exactly what kind of the nostalgia train kind of feels like.
I love that.
But in such a creepy form, it makes you go like, okay, I know exactly what they're talking about, but that's not how I pictured it. But now that I picture it that way, I'm not sure I can really think about nostalgic things.
I love how much of like that's a satire of like people who remember all the good old days when things were fun.
Which is of course with entirely like rose tinted glasses.
Rose tinted glasses because there were also really shitty things going on during those really good times.
I love it. It's like remember when you were safe? Remember Reagan? Remember Reagan? That was when they really started delving. It was just like, all right, that's touche.
It's so much fun for me because I always like, I don't know. I get issues sometimes with people who just like put on the nostalgia glasses for everything.
Rose tinted glasses are a dangerous thing because I get nostalgia. Like I have it all over the place.
I completely.
But you do have to stop and consider, and sometimes you need to critically review what you're nostalgic about. Like guilty pleasures are one thing, but if you can't admit that some of the things had flaws, you're probably not thinking about them hard.
Right.
And that's a good lesson to remember.
Mm-hmm.
To remember. God, it was so creepy. Why did it have to be so creepy? But it's a good lesson to remember. And I'm not gonna lie, like I got two really cool like lessons. I mean, it was things that I'd already kind of knew, but to see it, like see someone else talk about it
and do it in a like weird, unique way.
South Park, what are you?
Changing your life.
Stop it. When I first saw I remember when South Park first maybe don't remember when it first premiered, but I remember when it was like what 3 seasons in tops.
Yeah.
Like I remember the original South Park, and it was ridiculously stupid. They still had references and they still poked fun at pop culture, but it was basically just a bunch of people like I know how to do paper figures. Let's make a bunch of dick and fart jokes, and that's exactly what they were. Yeah. And I think they realized finally that because people expected them to be crass and in your face and just completely over the top, like, wait, we can do something with this.
You can get away with a lot of shit.
Matt Stone and Trey Parker are, I think, they're wonderful comedians of our time. They do wonderful things because they've taken something given to them, this reputation for being so over the top and ridiculous, and using it to their advantage by being in our face with things that honestly need to be talked about.
Right.
You may not agree with everything. That's good. I mean, if they can spark discussion,
right,
that's all that matters. So, this is a lot of fun coming back to South Park with this of all things. Although, like I said, it was a jarring 20 minutes of actual episode, and I'm just like, what?
Let's see. Did we miss anything?
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was like, do you have any other comments? I'm just gonna kind of zone out.
We should talk about Skank Hunt 42.
That was a twist that I didn't see coming at all.
So
Cartman's not the villain this time.
There's someone who's been bullying the students, the female students of South Park Elementary, online, using the username SkankHunt42, and everybody just assumes it's Cartman.
Well, because I mean, why wouldn't you assume? Right, it's
and I mean, like even I'm like, yeah, that's fucking a thing.
I was Cartman would do. Until the last 30 seconds, I was convinced it was still Cartman.
Because Cartman basically goes on this tirade of like, come on, girls are funny, say vagina into the microphone.
Well, yeah, I mean, he wasn't being very helpful.
He wasn't being very helpful, but he was like...
But Cartman...
And the whole time he's wearing a Tolkien's Life Matters shirt.
That was a nice touch. Token Lives Matter.
But he starts getting very like... kind of pseudo concerned for.
Well, yeah, he's actually he says he's trying to stop the war.
He's trying to stop the war between
a gender war.
The gender wars, and like he draws a vagina on his face, and the vagina has balls.
Yeah, it's like, I mean,
so here's the vagina and here's the balls.
He's pretending he got attacked by girls so he can try and get the boys on his side.
To start a gender war.
But he has no idea what a vagina actually looks like. So he draws them, but he adds balls to it because he just assumes they have balls. Because that's, I don't know, because he flunked sex ed. I don't even know. Like, they're in 4th grade. They wouldn't have had sex ed.
They have had sex ed on the show.
Oh, okay.
That's the thing that happened.
Well, fair enough. Then
I mean, to be fair, it wasn't a very educational sex ed.
I'm sure I could
but it was
imagine.
It was a funny episode.
Wait, was Mr. Garrison doing it?
No,
okay.
Mr. Mackey was.
That's even worse.
Mr. Maxey, or it was Mr. Mackey and Miss Chokes on Dick. It was two. It was those two.
That name. That is pure South Park right there. Jeez. Anyways, okay, so
but essentially, it turns out at the end of the episode that Skankhunt 42, who's been bullying the girls, is Kyle's dad.
Yeah. What the hell? Like
Which I'm sitting here like, wait a minute.
Again, I haven't seen the show in a while, but has Kyle's dad done anything even remotely like this? Mm-hmm. This is completely out of left field. Mm-hmm. All right, let's do this. Whatever. I'm willing to follow South Park on this. This is ridiculous enough.
Wondering if he's an ad. That was a thing last season. The ads were taking over.
What?
No.
Later.
He's so lost. Okay.
I'm so lost, but I like it.
I think that about does it though for this.
All right, yeah, that's plenty enough for that. Anyways, so if you like this video, like, comment, and subscribe.
Like, comment, subscribe.
All that. Yeah. Are you marrying me now?
Yeah.
All right, cool. So yeah, we're going to continue with this TV vlogs. We have other shows we're going on. We've done American Horror Story. We're about to do Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Star Wars Rebels is coming up. We're going to try and fit in the Flash. We'll see if Connor cares. Anyways, I have a Star Wars boner right now, dude. Whoa, please, not in front of the kids. Wait, we just did a South Park.
We just did a South Park. I think we're okay.
Yeah, whatever. Most kids watch South Park. Anyways, please keep an eye on this on the channel. We're going to try and keep a schedule with this. Try and keep our weekly vlogs out going. Yeah. Hopefully, if we keep them short, we'll be able to actually post them in time. Yeah.
Short videos.
Yeah, I know, this is actually kind of fun. Yeah. We actually can do multiple videos. Yeah, it's cool. So again, thank you for watching. If you have anything you want to see from us, anything that you think would be interesting to do, any comments about our format, how we do things, whatever, please comment, tell us, whatever. You can find us on Twitter at the Solid 9.
At the Solid 9.
Yeah, at the Solid 9.
Solid 9 was taken.
We need to find those people and take it back.
Kill them.
As well as just in the comments below. So thank you so much for giving us the time of day, and we hope to see you very soon.
Yeah.
All right. Farewell.
Bye-bye.